Before the episode starts, we want to take a moment to address the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, a decision that stripped away the right to have a safe and legal abortion. Criminalizing abortions threatens all Americans, those seeking a safe procedure, those medical professionals performing the procedure, and those who benefit from the procedure, including men. This decision encourages the loss of other rights. It's only a matter of time. And how can you help? Go to podvoices.help.
Small-town girl Bonnie Lee Bakley always dreamed of marrying a movie star. Her obsession with celebrities resulted in 9 divorces, until Bonnie eventually married famous actor Robert Blake. However, Bonnie learned being close to the spotlight comes with consequences. Within a year of her marriage, her Hollywood dream came to a tragic end when she was found fatally shot outside of a diner in North Hollywood. From Wondery, The Execution of Bonnie Lee Bakley is a thrilling new chapter in the hit Hollywood and Crime podcast series. Robert Blake knew Bonnie spent most of her life as a con artist who dreamed of being famous. But when Robert Blake reluctantly let Bonnie stay in his guest house, it began the role he'd become most famous for, an accused murderer. Explore the darker side of fame. Listen to The Execution of Bonnie Lee Bakley on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or you can listen early and ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app.
Adam! That's not my name.
Beau.
Okay, Travis?
Yes.
Guys, it's been I cannot believe this. I have PTSD. It's been 1 year that we've been doing this show. Yeah, it's our 1 year anniversary.
Travis?
Yeah, it's been 1 year, and what better thing to do than listen back to all the insane stories we've heard. Adam, have you learned anything since we started doing this show?
I learned to cry better. One of the things I've learned is how willing people are to really tell stories, in some cases that are not so easy to talk about because they feel comfortable because they're in a shame-free zone. And boy, we are pretty shame-free. We're also shameless, but we're pretty shame-free here.
True. Travis?
I've learned that there are scams for everything just under the sun at this point.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty much my takeaway, too.
I mean, the three of us have been scamming each other for an entire year now.
Yeah, but that's very different, and I've gotten used to it. So I just have a whole different bank account and financial thing that I have going on outside of stuff you guys know about. So
that's because Kenneth the Bear has been stealing fruit and vegetables for you and selling them at outrageous prices now that food prices have gone up. So
at the farmer's market, yeah, he's a real scoundrel. We should just make a Kenneth the Bear t-shirt, I think.
KTB.
First there was Cozy Bear, then there was, what's the other bear?
There's BTS, we have KTB.
What are those things?
BTS, the pop rock group from Asia. BTS.
Please. They just went on hiatus, though, so forget those guys. What are the bears? We could do, first there was Cozy Bear, then there was Fancy Bear.
Fancy Bear.
But they were nothing compared to Kenneth the Bear.
Wait a minute. That voice sounded a little higher than Travis's voice now.
No, this is Beau. I'm right here. Hi.
If that's Beau, what's the name of your bear?
I think it's Kenneth.
Oh, right. Cool.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
So we don't have to move to the country like you and hang out with bears and tractors.
I'm sitting at home. It's a Sunday. It's a nice day. I'm out in Connecticut. The sun is shining. I don't know if the sun was shining. Birds are flying around because they're always flying around. Kenneth the Bear was somewhere in the woods. Kenneth the Bear.
We also heard from a lot of people whose Instagram accounts got hacked this year. Frankly, I feel like this is the year of the Instagram account hack.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they were all Turkish. It's sort of like my favorite snack comes from Turkey too. I like those dried apricots. But
an apricot?
apricot, but I'm getting tired of these dried Instagram accounts. I think they sort of suck. We heard at least 3 stories of people whose Instagram accounts were stolen.
John Jupiter's Instagram account was hacked.
Yeah.
My situation seems a little different than some of the other people's situation. If I was going to details, my phone I was going on Instagram, and it was giving me these warnings that I was doing something Instagram like wasn't fond of.
Okay, so now are you on Instagram for fun, or are you on there for work, or both?
I would say definitely it's probably work related for me, a lot of work relation, but I also enjoy Instagram just like anybody else. And I also, weirdly enough, it's become more of a platform for me to communicate with people than even texting has been. I have a lot of accounts I work with all over the country. Well, I'll take that back, all over the world. And, because of the time differences and things like that, a lot of the accounts I work with, Instagram has become a great platform because I can say, oh, a beautiful new store image, or this is great, or that's great. They can respond. I can direct message them. And it's actually become a great tool for me. And then as a photographer, it's a portfolio. But yeah.
So it's very much work related for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I love all the funny videos, but I would say 80% of it's work for me.
Well, it's really a chronicle. I mean, that's what it is. I was kidding my wife the other day. I said, in the old days, someone would keep a journal. They would lock it, hide it, and die if they thought someone saw it. And today, Instagram is that journal for everyone.
But the weird thing about it, Adam, is also people like John and Guinevere, just to mention too. I mean, Guinevere gets tons of leads for work. I mean, they are sent to other people when they come to her, but there is a lot of communication about work happening on Instagram, a lot, especially among creatives.
Lisa Seifert also suffered through a hack of her Instagram.
You had an unfortunate experience on Instagram, which, as I understand, hasn't even been resolved yet.
So my Instagram page is private, and I didn't think something like this could happen to me because it was private, but I got a message saying it looked all very, very, very official. Like, I didn't think I could be fooled. Like, I bought it hook, line, and sinker, and it was a message saying that we've gone over your page and we've come to the decision to verify your page. Just hit the link below, which looked like an official Instagram link. Hit the link below and just put your email and then your phone number. I feel so stupid saying this, but and then check your emails or something like this, right? So I freaking did it. And the next minute I get a WhatsApp message from some creepy man in Turkey sending me a picture of a screenshot of my Instagram page. And I'm like, wow, this is so confusing. Who is this person?
Right.
And then he was like, bro. And I was like, who is this? And then I looked into my Instagram and I couldn't get in. And I'm like, wait, did you steal my Instagram? And he's like, yeah.
That's pretty straightforward.
And like anytime I would.
Well, at least he was direct.
He was very direct. And anytime I tried to like recover it, because you can like, hit a button to recover your email or something like this and change the password, it would just straight go to his email and his phone number.
We're familiar with the hack. So what did they root around in your messages? Did this person have any, what did they do?
He said that he was asking for thousands of dollars. He also said, if you don't pay me, he was already messaging people in my messages. And
How do you know that?
A lot of because he told me.
Did your friends tell you?
But did any of them tell you?
Him doing that. One did. Did he message you, Beau? No, right?
Yes, he messaged me. That's how I knew you got hacked.
But he was saying anyone that had the blue tick, the verification or whatever it's called. Sometimes people send their phone numbers, or sometimes people, I don't send explicit pics to anyone. You can just Google me. No, I'm just kidding. They're not explicit. But I would never do that for this reason, in a way, And he was threatening to release personal information. And stuff.
But
of
were there
people.
explicit pictures in there, not yours, of other people, or?
Yeah, over the course of years, of course, there's dummies that do that.
I still think the one that stuck out to me the most was having a Danadute story about getting hacked by a middle schooler.
That was funny.
That was pretty priceless.
You're here today to tell us a kind of a very interesting story, and we're all ears on this one. So tell us how this all started.
Okay, so a couple of years ago, I had some friends coming over for dinner, and I was gonna go cook for them because, as you guys know, I'm a big foodie. And I'm driving back from the supermarket, and I suddenly start getting all these emails. Hey, just confirming you're trying to change your LinkedIn password. Just confirming you're trying to change your Google password. Just confirming you're trying to change your Facebook password. And I get these emails once in a while, and I always think it's someone just fishing for a password, so I just ignored it, right? And then I got home, and I'm cooking, and my buddy Matt Goldich texts me, and he says, hey, I think your Twitter has been hacked. And I go onto my Twitter, and lo and behold, every 10 seconds, it's like an awful, awful, dumb song lyric is just being spat out onto my Twitter. It's like, owner of a lonely heart, much better than an owner of a broken heart. Bop, bop. It's just like nonstop.
Owner of a Lonely Heart's a good song. I don't know.
That's a good one. They
Hanson
weren't all
is the
bad.
anchovy of bands.
See, that would actually be me on my Twitter account, so therefore I wouldn't notice anything different.
Right.
Well,
for me, you have to understand, for a comedian especially, Twitter is very important.
Right.
It's I've gotten a lot of business out of my Twitter account. It's your way to promote yourself. I have a verified check mark. It's a big deal for me. It's important. So I start freaking out, and I can't get into my Twitter. I'm locked out of my Twitter account. So I contact Twitter, and it says someone's going to get back to you. They have a form response. It's like someone's going to get back to you within 5 to 7 days.
Don't you feel the love? 5 to 7 days?
Yeah.
That's pretty instant for them, yeah.
5 to 7 days. For me, that would ruin my life. Like this thing, just 20 seconds of this, I was already hemorrhaging followers.
5 to
So I'm
7 days is crazy.
Yeah.
There was a survey that if you took social media away from people, I think 60 or 70% of them said that they would be suicidal pretty much by the first 15 hours or 20 hours.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what their plan is, just to hope that you commit suicide so that they don't have to help you. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, what am I going to do here? And I get a call from an unknown number, and I'm assuming it's Twitter. And so I pick up. I'm like, hi, this is Dan. And I hear on the other line, yo, is this Dan Dude? I was like, yeah, who's this? He's like, yo, hey, what's up, man? It's me. I'm your hacker. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm the guy who's got your Twitter.
Okay, is this like an old guy, a young guy?
Young guy. And I'm like, how? What do you mean? And he just didn't say anything. And I was like, well, can I get it back? And he's like, yeah, that's why I'm calling you, so we can, figure out something that works out for both of us. And I'm like, oh my God, you're extorting me for my Twitter account? And he's like, whoa, don't use that word. It's not extortion. I just want you to pay me money, and then I'm gonna give you your Twitter account back.
It's a creative partnership.
So creative partnership that's going to cost you like 10 grand.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, holy cow. Well, first of all, I'm like, all right, before we get into the contract negotiations, how do I know the person that I'm on the phone with right now is the person who's in control of my Twitter? It was
Adam.
And he goes, oh, that's a good question. Hold on 1 second. And he starts typing, and I hear typing. Uh-huh. And he goes, yeah, it looks like your password for everything is Trek11111.
True story?
True story. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God. And look, here's the thing. It's very jarring to have someone, repeat your secret password to you, to hear it out loud in the world.
Today's episode is brought to you in part by Zapier.
Zapier. What does it do?
Zapier is this really cool online program that lets online apps communicate with one another, and it lets you automate tasks.
The average Zapier user saves over $10,000 in recovery time every year. And that's why, believe it or not, there are 1.8 million people and businesses that use Zapier to streamline their work.
Really, if there's anything online that you get sick of having to do over and over and over again, and you think, boy, if there's only a way to automate this and not have to go through this process, Zapier will have your back. You guys know that I have worked a lot with coding in the past. And my personal favorite type of coding project is one where I don't actually need to write any code. And Zapier allows you to do that. There's no coding involved. Either of you could just jump right in and start automating tasks on your end with no prior knowledge required.
Wait, even me?
Even you, Adam.
Oh my gosh. See for yourself why teams at Airtable, Dropbox, HubSpot, Zendesk, and thousands of other companies use Zapier every day to automate their business.
Try Zapier today at zapier.com, zapier.com/WTH.
Is that free? Did I see free?
It is free.
That's zapier.com/WTH. Well, we also had a lot of dating scams. Mary White got catfished on a dating site by someone pretending to be a well-credentialed doctor who was setting up a hospital overseas.
This is where it gets tricky, you guys. Okay, this is when you got to really get your antenna up. Because, it's turning out that Customs is holding on to the MRI machine and the X-ray machine, and they need $15,000 to get them.
Big ticket
Oh,
items.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy isn't messing around. And they need $15,000 to get it out of Customs. I'm like, well, gee, that's too bad. Sorry to hear it. He goes, well, is there any way you could help us out? What? You're a doctor, and you have enough money to open up a free clinic, but you can't get your stuff out of Customs? So red flag, right? Red flag. I've been doing this long enough. I know, red flag. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to see how this plays out. So I told him, oh, gee, I wish I could help, but, I just don't have the money. And I'm not going to give you $15,000. I don't even know you, right? But I didn't say that. Just like, sorry, can't help. We continue every morning, every evening. These messages are just lovely. About another week, he's like, oh, things are still stuck in Customs. If you can even help us with $5,000, because I'm really worried about the equipments. I went, wait a minute, equipments?
Has anyone tried to catfish you recently? And did you rebuff them viciously?
Viciously.
No, anymore. Well, obviously, since that last experience, I don't have anybody remotely like that approaching me anymore. Mostly because I got off all the dating sites because they were just a pain in my ass. It's like, it's a great way to meet people, but if you don't meet someone in a couple of weeks, pretty soon all you're doing is handing out resumes, getting hornier and hornier, So
don't you be trying to get your hands on my resume.
That's right.
There's nothing sexy about that.
I know, exactly. Anyway, so I'm not getting catfished. I'm taking a little break. I am, however, eating a lot more sugar. So I don't know. Have you guys noticed the correlation between horniness and sugar consumption?
Hell yeah.
Right?
100%.
I don't eat sugar, so that must be why my libido committed suicide. I don't know.
No, Adam, come on.
We also talked with Julie Krafchick of the Dateable podcast about romance scams. Dating apps. Are they worth the risk? Yes or no?
I absolutely believe they are. And again, I've met my partner on dating apps. I've met multiple partners on dating apps. I think you just need to be smart about using them. And like we said, when something feels too good to be true, like second guess it and then look out for some of these signs. Like you can also even do reverse image searches, and there's other ways to see if this person is valid. And I think there's always going to be a risk with anything. I've heard of scams, romance scams that didn't involve dating apps, that were people that met in person in the dog park. You never know, like if someone's out there trying to target you for some reason. It can happen anywhere though. So yes, it might be more prevalent on dating apps, but I really don't want people to feel discouraged to use dating apps because of this. We just need to be smarter about how we use them and, not having tunnel vision and believing the fairy tale all the time. Being realistic.
Dating apps are here to stay, especially in the age of COVID and whatever horrendous future pandemics that we may face as a world. So the question is, within that which exists, this universe, as opposed to the universe of our yearning youth.
Okay. Then I would say go slow.
What advice would you
Go
give?
slow. I would say go slow. And if somebody wants to go faster, go even slower.
Then there was Angela's dating app story.
I get a video. He sends me a video that's not even the pictures of the guy that in the profile. So, and it's somebody else, and the person is talking, and no, the person is lip syncing. Like the voice didn't match what, like, I don't know who the video was of. The video was not of him. It was of somebody else. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't even like the voice wasn't. It was almost like subtitles. It was almost like when your movie is dubbed into another language.
Some of my favorite movies in Chinatown in the 80s were like that.
That's exactly what I got. I was just like, I was like, it was just so ridiculous to me. I was like, how could? And I just remember being like, I just texted back. I was like, I'm just like, that's sad that, I thought you were somebody else, and this is just whatever.
And we heard Amanda's creepy story of cyberstalking.
What if he somehow, he has a cybersecurity company, right? I'm like, would it be possible for him to have gotten into my phone and see that I've been sexting, and that's why he's not responding to me? I just have the weirdest feeling, and I call my best friend. I'm like, do you think that this is possible? Because and she knows everything that's been going on. I said, do you think this is possible? Because I don't know. I feel like sick about it for some reason right now. She's like, I don't think that you can do that. She says, let me call my cyber friend and I'll get back to you. So she texts me and she's like, she screenshots the message that she has with her cyber tech friend that says, yeah, that can be done. I don't know why someone would go through the trouble of doing that, but it happens all the time. If you're in cybersecurity, you know how to do it. And so, yeah, sure. He could have probably done it. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if this is why I haven't heard from him. And he sees that I've now been sexting somebody when I've been telling him that he's the only person I'm talking to. And now there's, two people in the mix. And so now I'm kind of paranoid.
It sounds like Jason Bourne might have installed spyware on your phone. Now, Travis, a question to you before Amanda continues, and that is, can you install spyware remotely, or do you actually have to have access to the phone in order, this for our listeners, access to the phone in order to be able to put spyware on it?
Well, for something that could take that much control over your phone, we have heard things about the Pegasus spyware, for instance, but that's really, really high level. That's the sort of thing that they've gotten into journalists and politicians and the like. I don't really know how advanced this cybersecurity guy, the Jason Bourne, is here. So we know that there is, in the case of the Pegasus spyware, something that can get onto an iPhone and can pretty much take full control over it and intercept just about anything. And it's called a zero-click malware because all you need to do is get a text from it. But again, that would be a pretty refined, like government-level form of spyware.
Okay, but Travis.
Yeah.
Adam.
Beau.
You've met Amanda, Adam. Travis, you see Amanda now on the Zoom screen where we're talking to Amanda.
Sure.
Amanda, I have a partner, this is no flirtation, is a very refined woman. So it's quite possible she may have attracted, we're not wrong, Jason Bourne, and that this guy had access to something like Pegasus. And it's also quite possible that Lira Crypta ICM, the guy from Italy, also we don't know if he was a high-level crypto guy. He may have been one of the original crypto guys. And if he is one of the original crypto guys, he's got chops. And if he's got that kind of dough, because we're talking $100 million, Pegasus is a cheap date. And if you're also a bit of a psycho, it's a fun date because you can spy on everybody. So, no offense, Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne, listen, you know what? I have such a boring life. Leave me alone. But
it is the case of one of those things of saying, it would be hard to get a rocket launcher, than saying, well, the guy is a gun dealer. Then you're like, well, that would make it a little bit easier on that note. The one thing that we have not had more than one of, for which I'm thankful, is the evil clown attack.
Roy's story from our first episode.
It was right before the inauguration. I think when Parler got kicked off of their own app was shut down by, I don't know, was it Amazon or Apple? Everyone kind of shut them down. And it was in the news that everyone from Parler was migrating to Telegram. So just was doing a search for like Parler on Telegram and saw it was like tens of thousands of people filling up these rooms, and just wanted to kind of observe. I had never been on Parler, so just wanted to observe the kind of crazy QAnon chat going into what was a really scary inauguration, and being in those rooms was just a little too tempting to get into conversations with people. It went from lurking to trolling. I mean, I got kicked out of like room after room, and we go to like a different Parler room.
But you were being very, very provocative, as I recall.
I mean, yeah, we were like the My Pillow guy. He's not even giving the troops pillows, like just freaking out over things. It's like trying to be as funny as possible. And then they'd out us. Gotten kicked out of like the really bigger rooms, and was just then I couldn't even find any more Parler rooms. So I went to look for different QAnon rooms, and I saw one. It was like maybe 20 or 30 people, same routine, like just was troll posting. And there were these crazy like GIFs I'd never seen, like evil clowns with their arms and like jaws opening. And I mean, that to me seemed like it could have been some kind of virus, but in any case, so I'm posting. They're like, yelling back at me, this or that. Then all of a sudden I see a picture posted, and it was a picture of me that doesn't exist on the internet. That's like only on my phone and my computer.
You spending any more time trolling Trumpies and anti-vaxxers?
No, after that, never again. I'm not antagonizing any QAnoners or...
no more evil clowns then.
Yeah. I did have some weird charges on a credit card, but I don't think it was QAnon related.
Did you buy a Trump shirt or something? What was it?
It was Sam's Club. What is that? Is that like a Costco or something? It's something I don't belong to. And there were like 3 $49.99 charges in a row.
That sounds like a pretty typical somebody got your credit card number scam.
Yeah, they sent me a warning thinking I got double charged, and I was like, I don't even belong to Sam's Club.
No, but I do thank you for letting me use your credit card when I went over there. And the T-shirts are great.
Yeah. We've neglected to tell you that you remember I was on that Telegram thread with you trolling the QAnon people.
Yeah.
But I was actually there hacking your computer so that Adam could get your credit card number so that he could spend $49.99 at Sam's Club.
6 months later. So
yeah, that's how it works. You do it later so that they can't tell.
Because as we say, the family that spends together ends together. So, hey.
All right. So did you learn anything from the show other than that you're never going to troll the bad guys again, or the good guys, or whoever the guys are?
I don't think so. No, I mean, I haven't been following like the computer hygiene you suggested, like shutting everything down every night. It's just too much effort to put in 1 million passwords every morning and open like the 20 screens I have open. So
password manager.
I mean, Safari does it for me quite a lot. Sometimes it doesn't. But
so please
still,
tell us that you at least have an extremely, extremely complex Apple password.
Yeah, no, I never remember it. I'm resetting it all the time.
It's Beau, right? Beau's
We're gonna
your
have to
password.
beep this whole thing, like this whole thing has to be beeped. Come on, Roy.
Like
All
my
right.
Apple ID, you mean? Yeah.
We're gonna have to make Roy T-shirts and sell them from the site, Adam.
Yep, and the slogan is going to be "Make Cyber Great Again."
Yeah, or don't be like Roy. Roy.
That's right.
Well,
instead of like that,
as long as I'm not antagonizing the QAnoners, it seems like I'm pretty safe out there. Like
they pretty much antagonize themselves, so I wouldn't,
Well, no, but I'm gonna put a bet down now. Roy, first of all, thanks for coming. It is nice of you to come and drink sarsaparilla with us on your work day. But I wanna just put a chit on the table. Excuse me. He's gonna come back as a guest. We're gonna get another good story.
Oh, without question.
100%. Travis?
Yep. Sounds like
I'm surprised that we haven't had more. I mean, just I think it's worth remembering though that steganography, whether it's a
roof
evil
lizards.
clown, roof lizard, yeah, but at any rate, the steganography attack, that's a real thing, and I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't heard about more of those.
Each week, Wired's podcast, Gadget Lab, tackles the biggest questions in the world of personal tech, bringing the best of Wired to audio with breaking news and analysis spanning mobile apps, gear, startups, and beyond.
Recent episodes of Gadget Lab have explored topics like how private really are the newest Apple devices, and what does the advent of self-driving technology at companies ranging from Lyft to John Deere mean for workers who make a living behind the wheel?
If these questions get the gears in your head turning, head over to Gadget Lab with new episodes available each week wherever you get your podcasts. We've also had a fair number of experts on the show. That's always
why don't you toot your own horn there?
Us? Experts? Experts?
No, experts.
No, it's true. It's true, and from Jeff, the head of security at Avast.
So, this big drive by Microsoft and Google and Apple to get people to do it another way. Yep. How do you feel about that one?
So I'm absolutely in favor of it. I think the passwordless is a very powerful way to get away from a fundamental technology challenge.
Jeff.
Yes.
Did you see The Big Lebowski?
Hold my drink.
Dude. Well, you remember the nihilists, and they said, she cut her pinky off. You remember them? What people are going to start cutting people's thumbs off. I disagree.
I don't see the thumb cutting.
Jeff is stunned by the level of stupidity I just threw at him.
It was a pinky toe, for the record. It was actually popular singer Amy Mann's toe.
I think your scoring of actual risks doesn't put that one at the top of the list.
Whatever.
If you've got a situation where a criminal has the ability to cut off your finger, they can compel you to enter your password in lots of other ways.
Not if they're not Jack Bauer.
Stare at this cell phone.
Okay. But let him answer. Now I'll stop interrupting. Why do you think it's a good thing, and how will they do it? Is it biometrics? Is it a token? What is it?
I think there's multiple ways to do it, biometrics, token, but I think the really important aspect of it is getting to that idea of self-sovereignty, that I control my identity. I don't have to have my identity on 100 different sites. I don't have to have my personal information on 100 different sites. I control it. I control where it goes. Right now, if I order something on Amazon, they have my password, they have my address, they have my credit card number, they have my order history and all the things that go along with it. And then in fulfilling that order, they give my address, name, and other information to UPS so that they can deliver it. They give information to Visa so they can process the transaction. And so there's all of this information that's going to multiple parties. And that's even before we start to get to the ad tracking and the cookies and things where my preferences and actions are being profiled. But if I've got all of this controlled on my own device in a tightly encrypted manner, and I choose where it goes, then I don't have to worry about that onward transfer. UPS doesn't need to know of anything other than my address to deliver me a package. They need to know that it's authorized, that it should be going to my address, but they don't need to know my name even. They don't need to know what's in the box. They don't need to know anything like that. Visa doesn't need to know anything except I need money from Jeff, and here's the amount, and it's approved. And Amazon.
I kind of love this. You're selling it, man.
Amazon doesn't need to know my credit card. They only need to know that Visa says, yeah, he's good for it. Go ahead. So this idea of not having all of this sensitive and personal information stored in 100 different places in order to do the things that we do every single day reduces the risk overall. So I think there's a real power in putting things into the control of the individual, as long as the software providers make it easy for the individual to do the right thing.
Jeff Williams, you just knocked it out of the park. I now belong to the church of your way of looking at this.
No, we have always said that there's a shared responsibility, and the individual plays a critical role in cybersecurity and in cyber hygiene. So we're all, this is the same choir. Yeah, we're all singing together here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's something that people tend to overlook, where they look at the Venn diagram between privacy and security as being not a lot of overlap, but at the same time, I think you're completely spot on here, where your privacy is a matter of security, because the fact that when you know who has access to your information, that lets you know who is able to access your accounts.
Yeah, there was Jeff Williams, the head of Avast, and then there was your old buddy, Brian
Ebert, former chief of staff of the United States Secret Service. Boy, the stories he could tell that he won't.
One of the first cases that I was involved with, I wasn't the case agent on it, but I helped out with it as a real junior agent. So this was like 1992. We called it the Fredericks of Hollywood case, because there were folks that served as operators that you could call in to Fredericks of Hollywood to buy lingerie or whatever particularly your fancy from that company, and they were capturing all the credit card numbers from customers that were buying from Fredericks of Hollywood, and sell them in bulk to other bad guys who would again encode and emboss them onto counterfeit cards and use them to do cash advances or to do high dollar purchases for items that they could turn around and fence.
We also talked with the host of the podcast Darknet Diaries, Jack Resider. Jack, when you were making these videos, were you tracking stats like how many viewers, what your growth was? Were you really trying to grow an audience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to.
Because, the real question here, and somebody with your background would absolutely know this cold, but, how do you balance being a public figure with being safe and secure?
Yeah, I think you want to use your name as least amount as possible, right? So use a fake name if you can. Don't provide details such as your location, your age, your interest, your family status, who you're related to, who your friends are even, because, people can target them to try to get to you and stuff like that. So yeah, you just kind of want to really pull back on all the possible things and just talk about very common things like the weather online if you're on social media and stuff, right? Because the more you divulge about yourself, the more that somebody can build some sort of targeting package to you. And when you have situations like where people are, saying that they're in Bitcoin investors or they're big into Ethereum or something, well, now you know that this person probably has a lot of Bitcoin, and you can say, all right, well, how can I social engineer this this person to get what I need out of them. And people have lost millions of dollars in Bitcoin this way. So you've got to kind of see what could potentially go wrong. Like, sometimes you have something that other people think is valuable, and if they can steal it digitally or even pressure you into just giving money because, they've conned you. I've seen catfishing scams and stuff like this where people are like, well, now I have your photos. Give me $500 or else I'm going to publish it to the world. And it's a dangerous world. So I just try to stay out of that light and just have like a professional persona that I put out there instead, which doesn't always match my real persona. And so, a couple times I wasn't street smart enough and made some wrong moves, and some fingers got in my wallet and took things out.
Now, are these hacks, or are they social engineering, or is it neither, just kind of scumbaggery?
Well, I think this is where we're going in as far as digital cybercrime. It's a combination between social engineering and hacking. And I think if you leverage the two, you can really you can make millions of dollars of this. Social engineering is just going so far right now. We have a lot of flaws in our coding in our psyche that tricks us into doing a lot of things that are stupid. So I think social engineering is the main thing going on.
And we learned about social engineering from Jordan Harbinger. I imagine this whole experiment taught you a lot about how people react in these type of scam situations.
Yeah.
What were some of the things you learned that have really stuck with you?
So there were a couple of things that I used that worked almost every time. In rapport, if you disclose first, other people will open up. And those are like trust triggers. So if I say, oh man, I'm afraid to go work out there. I'm going to be all alone. I don't know anyone in Indiana. What am I going to do? I feel like maybe I should just stay in California. And the person would say, I also am pretty lonely out here. I'm not getting along well with my significant other. And, it'd just be great to have somebody in the office that I can relate to, because everybody's so left-brained. And I'm like, this guy's basically telling me stuff that he would not want anybody at his office to know, and certainly wouldn't want his family to know. And now he's, of course, going to trust me with something else that is not shareable, right? And so it shifts when you disclose first and you're using rapport. It shifts from someone violating a policy that they should know better to helping somebody in need. And also, the other takeaway is people go, I would never fall for that. Bear in mind, I'm getting 1 or 2 nuggets from each person, and then I'm backing way off. We might be talking about McDonald's Filet-O-Fish for the next 2 weeks, 2 or 3 messages back and forth after you gave me your office phone number or the project type or where the test thing is that you're located at and you feel isolated from your family. That kind of stuff was gold. And then you didn't want to just dive in and keep doing more and more and more. Maybe a spy would, but also I think a spy actually might back off and say, this person trusts me. If I dig even more, their BS detectors might go off, and then they're going to be like, uh-oh, what am I doing?
And the list goes on. It's been a fun year, I have to say.
Agreed.
Let's play round robin. What you hope to get from a guest this year. I go first because I'm Beau. I want to hear a story about a hack that occurred because an employee snuck in malware on a USB drive and intentionally infected a network. That's the story I want to hear.
That is very specific.
We haven't heard that story yet, and I love stories like that. I love them.
So in other words, we have to line up nuclear engineers from an Iranian facility.
Nah. It could be like a shoe store. I don't care. But the idea being that it happened with a hardware attack is what I want. I want to hear about a bad employee doing a hardware attack. And obviously I don't want to hear from the bad employee. So if you think I'm going to get on the show by doing an attack on my company, you're just going to jail. I want to talk to somebody who experienced the attack, to be clear.
I actually want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with a real live, no kidding, not so white hat hacker to get their perspective on things.
Can we pay like we not so ethically offered a hacker who was trying to scam me money to come on the show, and he declined.
Thomas just wouldn't do it.
Thomas
Wasn't
Davis.
interested. That's right. TD
So I don't,
to his friends.
I don't know if we're going to make that happen, Adam, but that is actually, I take it back. Adam's wish is also mine. Travis?
I'd really like to be able to talk to someone who's experienced a hack from a foreign government.
Ooh.
Because so many of the things that we talk about are scams, and it's not to say they're all the same. I mean, every story has been different, but they tend to follow a lot of similar beats to one another.
Maybe I could get Vladimir Putin to come on.
He would be the perpetrator, though.
He's not busy right now, so we can talk to him. So if by any chance you're any of the people we just described, and you know who you are, please get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. We would love to have you on the show. We don't have to identify you. We don't have to have you use your real voice. I mean, you can be anonymous.
We won't even try to hack you.
Speaking of which, if someone from Anonymous would like to come on the show, we'd like to have them too.
That would be fun.
100%.
Yeah. Or if you've had any hacks or scams happen to you, we'd love to have you on and hear your story.
In fact, if you're someone who tried to get gasoline for under $7 a gallon, we'd like to hear from you as well.
So if you want to submit a story idea for the show, you should just send a dog over to Adam's house with the idea tied to its collar. And Adam loves dogs, especially if they look like scorpions. If you have a story and you want to tell it to us, go to adamlevin.com. There's a huge banner there, and it says, "Tell us your story." And if you click it, you're not going to get malware. You're just going to get a form, and you're going to get to tell us the story.
And we really do read everything that comes through that form. So.
No, we don't. Travis does.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone who's listening, everyone who has listened, and everyone who's dreaming about the possibility of listening to What the Hack with Adam Levin one day, because we are your destination for enlightenment.
Wow, would you get on with it?
Okay. Anyway, I really want to thank everybody. It means an enormous amount to me, to my wife, to my child, to my unborn children.
He's doing it again. Adam!
What? Sorry.
Take your Adderall and stay on task.
To everyone who's listening, and everyone who's been supportive of us and given us wonderful reviews and ratings.
Wow! Just say thank you. Can you just say thank you?
All right. Everyone who has listened to this show, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been a terrific first year. I've had a ball. I hope you've enjoyed this show, and I look forward to entertaining you more, enlightening you more, inspiring you more in the year to come.
And all you guys out there who are thinking about starting their own podcast, let this be a lesson to you about podcasting and drinking at the same time. It really is. It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing when somebody just really gets in their cups and then they decide to just let it all loose.
Sober.
I just want to join you in saying, it has been totally fun, and I look forward to another year of fascinating stories.
Thanks to everyone who's tuned in to listen to us. We hope you've enjoyed it half as much, at least, as we've had making the show.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Once in a lifetime, there comes a moment, a wonderful moment when ratings take your hand. And this is our moment, our once in a lifetime. I need ratings, please. Ratings.
What the Hack with Adam Levin is a production of Loud Tree Media.
It's produced by Andrew Stephen, the man with two first names.
You can find us online at loudtreemedia.com and on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Adam K. Levin.
Travis Taylor. Travis Taylor. Travis Taylor.
Oh, he's blushing.
Go on, Travis.
Yes, I'm indeed blushing.
You're awesome, Travis. Here we go.
This is What the Hack with Adam Levin.
Taylor. Yeah. Woo. Taylor. Go on, Travis. Here we go.